Hello, honorable members of the class. So welcome to my YouTube channel, and I feel a whole lot better. Yeah, I think in Genwa Nyongo, if you don't know what that is, typical Zulu stuff. Anyways, guys, there's somebody who asked me a question about Chapter 9 institutions, because I mentioned a thing too, and they were like, wait a minute, which are the other ones? Please let us know so that we always know what sort of institutions that are supposed to be responsible for our best interest in South Africa, that are enshrined in the Constitution, and our parliamentarians are supposed to oversee, making sure that these institutions are doing their jobs. And I said, you asked the right question, because I have the rest of the list, but I will mention them again. The first one, of course, that is a Chapter 9 institution. Chapter 9 basically means Chapter 9 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, Act 108 of 1996. Okay, the first one, the South African Human Rights Commission. The second one, the Public Protector. The third one, it's long, this one, Commission for the Promotion and Protection of Rights of Cultural, Religious, and Linguistic Communities. Where are they when we are being attacked by South African Human Rights Commission? Because all that stuff that I just read, we are under threat. Our languages are under threat. Our cultural beliefs are under threat. Our religion is under threat. Our rights as diverse South Africans under threat because of the South African Human Rights Commission. They want to ethnically cleanse us. And they are quiet. And who's supposed to be responsible for this? I think COCTA. COCTA is the one that is supposed to be responsible for this. And who runs it? I think in Parliament, the chairperson, I think, is Zweli Mkhize. I stand corrected. Number 4 is Commission for Gender Equality. I haven't heard about them in a very long time. Number 5 is the Auditor General. And the last one is the Electoral Commission. Yeah, the IEC. That fall part of Chapter 9 institutions. These are the institutions that are supposed to be making sure that our best interests are put first. But the South African Human Rights Commission, no, they couldn't give a rat's toe about us. As a South African, if you have something that is violating your constitutional rights, they ignore it. If they don't ignore it, they defend it. I mean, how many? Yeah, I don't want to talk about that individual. No, they don't care. But the moment you accidentally step on an illegal foreigner's toe, oh, you touch the South African Human Rights Commission on the studio. They will come and be all over you like bad rash. But anyways, this video is not about that. I just thought, okay, I will come and fit it in today's video. Guys, influencers of South Africa. Influence. I was reading the article, and I'm just going through online newspapers, and I come across Sars is going after South African influencers to start paying tax. So there is 500 billion rand that is not paid to Sars by South African influencers. At first, it did not sink in until I was like, 500 billion, that's R500 billion. This is not just some hobby, as some people will call it. The moment they hear that you are a content creator, they'll say, get a real job. It is a job. Oh, it is a job. And I can tell you that content creation, you spend more time than your 9 to 5. Because your 9 to 5, you are there for what, 8 to 9 hours? In some instances, maybe 12 hours. A content creator can sit the whole day, whole night, just to come together or bring together a concept, which will be turned into content. And you say that's not a job. Come on. Seriously, it's a job. I'm telling you that it's a job. But I was like, wait a minute, 500 billion rand, to me, that sounds like an industry. It's an industry. Not the entertainment industry that makes 300 million rand. I found out some few, probably to like 10, 15 years ago. And I was like, why are you calling the entertainment industry if it's making 300 million rand in profit? That's not an industry. But 500 billion rand, that's an industry. That is an industry. And I was like, oh, SARS, I get you. I get you, SARS. I get you. And it is wrong that influencers are not paying their taxes to the taxmen. Then I was like, hold up. Let's hold our horses, pull it back. Hold up. This is South Africa, with youth unemployment staggering around the 70%. And the very little that the same youth that do not have money take their smartphones and then create content and cross their fingers, hope that somebody watches their videos, somebody read their tweets, somebody like their Instagram posts, and it mushrooms into a community. And then they start making money when brands begin to approach them to promote things, and then they start making money, and they're no longer broke and no longer begging for money to get toiletries at the age of 30, 35, 40 from their ailing parents. That to me was, it hit me so hard. I was like, no, SARS, no. For now, SARS, for now. I get it, the retailers, I get the road workers, I get all the other taxpayers in the country. And that is why I will always say, as long as you have a smartphone and you have a job, just take at least per day in a week, 5 minutes before you go to bed, and create a piece of content, whether it's a vlog or get unready with me or get ready with me, or you are cooking breakfast. Trust me, just making a sandwich. Also and then you eat. People will consume that because somebody relates with that type of content. I have a habit of doing something that because of poverty, that I kind of grew with it. To this very day, when I really don't want to eat anything else, I eat that. If you know, you will know. No put. That is starch water. That water mixed with sugar and maize meal, but the one that is more fine, not the wet pap. And I go to bed. That's relatable. Do something that somebody, when they watch it, they're like, oh my goodness, it either takes them back or it shows them while they are probably in that situation that them too one day will be like you now, that you can eat this because you want to, not because you are forced by circumstances. So SARS on this one, no, for now, Bob, for now, until the scourge of unemployment in this country, it is resolved, especially youth unemployment. I get 500 billion rand is a lot of money. Please do not look at me and think that I am promoting anarchy. We are talking about the reason, or probably one of the big reasons, why these influencers, who always happen to be young people, between the ages of 15 to probably maybe 50, that are doing content. And maybe the money they are making, and the reason why they haven't approached SARS yet, is because they are paying off debts. Maybe they are paying off bank loans for going to school. Graduated, couldn't find a job. Maybe the old people, when they had to go for interviews and never gotten that job. Maybe they're paying enough SARS. Maybe something is going on. Yes, I get it that influencers, they come on social media and show off Louis Vuitton bags and Gucci bags, trip to Dubai, trip to Cannes Festival, and all these places. They have to do that because that's the way they market themselves to brands. They have to do that. Sometimes they actually go to bed hungry just so they are able to get a business class ticket to Dubai. And when they get there, they create content, come back and hope that a big brand is going to approach them back in Dubai or elsewhere. And that's when they get paid the millions. I don't know, but the problem we are having in this country, we have a minister of small business. Clueless about what I'm talking about. This is what she's supposed to be pushing. This is what she's supposed to be going to parliament about, because data in this country is expensive for these young people to consistently be posting. Do you know, if you go to major airports in South Africa, you will find young people at arrivals, whether international or domestic, just sitting there. They're not just sitting there, they are uploading videos. They are scheduling other videos for a week, sometimes for 2 weeks, because they can't keep coming there every single day to upload videos. They know that as long as they are consistent, at some point, this is going to blow up and they will no longer have to come to the airport to upload videos, because now they're going to start earning money. And then they're going to use that money to get Wi-Fi. These are the things that young people are fighting for, and that minister is not fighting that in parliament for them, so that they get free Wi-Fi connection. Connect the country so that young people can create jobs for themselves. And Sars sing 500 billion rand and it goes all berserk? No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree. I can imagine as a taxpayer how upsetting it is when we see our taxes being squandered to a point where there is actually PKK or PKTT, to a point where now we have PKTT because of our taxes. And now you want to go after the most vulnerable in our country when it comes to economic progress. No, I'm sorry on this one. Treat the content creators and influencers like you treat the taxi industry. For now. Let's fix that. But for now, SARS, don't. The United States, in fact, South Africa is the only African country where we don't pay tax to the United States for YouTube. The only African country because of the tax treaty we have with the United States. I'm not quite sure for how long with everything going on, but it is what it is. I don't know, what are your thoughts? Because I'm looking at it in the perspective of employment. These people that are today influencers, it's not because that's what they dreamt of becoming. These people hold degrees. They hold degrees. I want to mention names of influencers that have master's degrees, but they can't find jobs. And now they saw an alternative in becoming an influencer content creator. And now you want to come after their livelihood. You do know when mangabe you were taking your SARS thing, nyake pula, whoosh. You're like this. You don't like take a scoop. Nyake pula. And now you leave a content creator thinking, what must I do? What must I do now? Somebody tell me, what must I do to survive? Things are expensive. And you want to come after what young people are creating for themselves with a useless government. And there, guys, thank you so much for listening to me. You may disagree. I'm okay with you disagreeing with me, but we have a real problem in our country. And Sars is being insensitive. Again, old people. This is what happens when you have old people in positions they don't understand the current world. We are in the fourth industrial revolution. It's about to get down more than ever. And we need to get rid of that minister who has no vision when it comes to this era. How to empower young people economically. Thank you so much, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.